Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to RSF1's season review podcast. We're wrapping up season 2, and a very exciting season it was with all the action and the races. We're all just wrapping it up with a nice little bow, tying it up before we move on to season 3 and horizon of the new game, which will be days away from this coming out. But yeah, we need to wrap everything up. So this is what this is for. We'll have interviews, we'll have analysis, all the stats, because we love stats. And plus, we've got some votes to talk about and for you guys in the chat to basically vote on. So should be good. My name is RSF1 Racing, and I'm your host for this evening. But I'm joined that people are going to help me on this kind of wrapping up of the season. We'll start off with LR Blazer Guns.
Hello.
We also have Beast Bro, also known as CCRL Clark, also known as AMS Clark, and however many other gamer tags you had.
Oh.
And also Primus Gaming.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Hope you're well.
Hello to all three of you. Thank you very much for joining this this podcast right here. And we are all prepared. I believe we're all prepared anyway. But let's start off. Obviously, got a few people will be joining into the chat. I would assume soon. How do you think the season overall has gone in RSF1? I mean, it has been ups and downs, obviously, but we are positive Pete's right now. None of us are called Pete, but we're positive Pete's. So positivity.
Aww.
Blazer, we'll start off with you.
Yeah.
Again, be positive.
Overall,
yeah, it's been a good one, hasn't it?
yeah, it's been a tremendous season throughout. For this season here in season 2 for RSF1, as you said, a bit ups and downs, but overall, we ended in the high. We started in the high, and all I can say is hopefully for next season we start with a very big high with the new game.
Yes. What about you, Primus? Season 2 in RSF1. Obviously, they had to. The league as a whole had a decent start in season 1, in my view. But obviously, the difficult part was to follow on. And I think if you look at it as a whole, very good job, I think, from everyone involved.
I agree massively. RSF1 has taken massive strides in, of our journey back before when we began our debut last year, and we really did improve so much after season 1. And when we got onto season 2, from the get-go, we knew who the old champions were, and we was like keeping an eye on them. And then suddenly a whole bunch of new people just came out of the blue and surprised us in all 5 divisions. And it's good to see them duke it out cleanly, of course. In all 5 divisions, old and new faces. And the committee's grown a lot. I'd say the comms team has grown a lot. And it's just great to see how much RSF1 as a whole, in terms of a league, has really grown. And me personally, as a commentator and a driver, I'm really, really proud to see how responsible, how amazing everyone is in this league. They've been supporting of each other. If anything happened, we dealt with it appropriately. This has been the most professional. I've been in a couple of leagues, but this is the most professional league I've ever been in, and I'm absolutely happy to be a part of it.
Jeez, high praise indeed. Beast Bro, obviously you take part in a lot of leagues. You're part of quite a few. But as Primus was saying, the community, I think, is the biggest thing with RSF1. It's whenever we need to get together for anything, to celebrate someone's birthday, to any situation that requires the lead to come together, everybody does that. We really congratulate people on their first win. The championship, was a big deal for people as well. It's the community is really big in RSF1.
Yeah, definitely. The community and the relationship between the staff members in the league and the drivers is one thing that I think needs mentioning, because in most leagues that I'm obviously in, as you've mentioned, have a very minimal relationship between them, which means it's a lot harder to get your opinion through of stuff you want. But in RSF1, I've never heard of someone having a problem trying to speak to a staff member, because the committee team and also the head comm stewards, everyone's on it, always wanting to help everyone and make sure it's improving, and always speaking to people in the chats. The chats are always speaking, and people are always talking to each other, trying to keep each other happy, and it's just a great place to be.
Got a few people in the chat agreeing as well. Good evening to Vettel, Porter, Jay Locker, I see. Gagliuik is that, I think, as well in there, and all the others. Element Snow I saw just the beginning. Scump Burner, of course. So good amount of viewers to begin with. I think also the inclusion of the garages as well, like the team garages. Blazer, you were part of Williams this season in season 2. How were the team chats? I mean, some were more talkative than others, some were more supportive than others. Yes, but how was yours this season with Williams?
Well, to correct you on that, second season in the Williams. Don't forget, it was my second season in a row with it. I think the start of the season it was all right. We was talking about strategies and stuff like that, and then I think by the midway stages to the end, we started to be a little bit more quiet. We wasn't talking as much. Some of us were, but at the same time, most of us were not talking because most of us had to go away and sort some stuff out, like jobs and things like that, so we couldn't communicate that much and stuff. But overall, it's been alright here in Williams.
Yeah, Primus, hashtag jerkmerk, is it, I believe, in the Mercedes chats? So that was definitely something Element keeps putting forward, doesn't he? The whole spiel. I definitely think whoever came up with the garages idea, props to you. Big thumbs up to you, because I don't know who it was, but big thumbs up to you, because it was really good. I mean, I was part of Ferrari most of the season, and mine was good with the setups and, as you were saying, Primus. But all these different hashtags came up. Hashtag Tawip in Racing Point as well. But the jerkmerk. The jerkmerk
Banana
is loud and
Squad
proud
as well. The banana cars, the Renault. I was quite surprised initially when they first did the garages. I thought it was a brilliant idea. It was like more unity between divisions 1 through 5. I originally used to be in Red Bull when I first began, but we didn't have the drivers lounge, the overall team lounges. So when I was a part of the Mercedes Formula 1 team for season 2, I was like, okay, let's see who I'm with. And I was with quite a few people. Most importantly, though, people like Element and Dyslexic were quite huge in terms of support, really. They always were there to help out in case you needed a setup, and unless you already had your own, then we still discussed some things. Everyone has like a good race and a bad race. Sometimes we use it as good like consolation. Sometimes a bad thing happens in a team for it to grow even more stronger. I personally think, though, that, as you said, Brundle, I have to give massive props to whoever thought of the idea of creating team paddocks, because it made a lot more involvement. Because I know we've got like the drivers coaching, which was good for anyone who's struggling with driving. I'd say the team garages were almost just as good as that, because if anyone was new to that team, anyone, like, for example, say if anyone joined the Mercedes team, Dyslexic would be more than happy to, help them. We'd all support each other. So I have to say, it's been really good so far, and I really do hope that we keep that going.
I did notice Patronus putting the hashtag Champs Alpha, because obviously that was another thing that was introduced, the overall constructors, which Alfa Romeo won, and obviously that's my first congratulations to them, everybody involved in Alpha. Combined effort, very well done. Definitely the obviously inclusion of that added to the competitiveness. It's always competitive, but always good to add a little bit more, and it's definitely something that a lot of drivers, especially towards the latter stages, Beast Pro, towards the latter stages, teams are really, some were getting quite almost towards the line of acceptable in terms of rivalries between teams. Got really personal sometimes, but that's a positive though, because we always want that. Is that something you're going to be continuing into next season, Beast Pro, whatever team you end up being?
Yeah, I think the competitive nature that started to come towards the end, especially with the Haas team and the Alfa Romeo towards the end with the combined constructors, was probably one of the highlights of the season, because both teams were going at it for the full season, wanting, and then it came down to the last few races where it was still wide open, and it was a friendly rivalry in every division. And it was unlucky to the Haas team to fall short, but they still accepted it in the best manner you can and kept it a rivalry to remember. Did not turn anything bad or anything. It was just a brilliant rivalry between the two teams, which really sparked a good even better community towards the end of the season.
Yeah, certainly did. Quick couple of minutes about the game as a whole. Yes, again, being positive, Pete's again. It wasn't entirely brilliant, but, when is the perfect game? F1 2020 probably might have issues. But in terms of a thing to use, I think it's been okay. Yes, we had the glitches at the start, and we didn't have, the proper comms graphics, which annoyed me until we got to, I think it was Bahrain, China onwards. I remember watching the races a couple of days back, and I completely forgot that Australia and Bahrain races, a few of them, didn't have the track map. And when the track map was added, it was brilliant. But obviously there was a load of patches, so it's got loads of plasters on the game right now. But it's been okay. Primus has it. This game, I think it's been stable enough.
It started off a little bit bumpy, but then again, as you said, no game is perfect from the get-go. When F1 2020 comes out, it's going to have a few bugs. But that's the thing. With 2019, they made a thing where if you bought the better edition, you got a few days early, to play it. And in that way, it was good for feedback. And initially, because leagues hadn't properly developed or anything like that, the feedback system was sort of quite low to Codemasters at first. They were like, oh yeah, it's all good. But then after time went on, eventually Codemasters then worked on improving the game. Personally, though, F1 2019, as much as it had its issues, sometimes where it just kick you out of the lobby or the black screens. Other than that, I'd say this game has been probably one of my favourites of Codemasters series since F1 2010. I have to say this. It's also got a soft spot for me because it is where my debut for league racing began, because originally I never used to be interested in online racing, and then the one time I chose to go into a ranked lobby, and I met someone who was helping in the developing of RSF1, and then here I am today. So definitely a soft spot for me, this game.
Yeah, what about you, Beast Pro? A quick word on the game itself. Wasn't too bad, all things considered. We don't mention 2015 Patronus. We don't mention that game ever again. We've moved on.
Put it under the rug.
We've moved on. Yeah, Beast Pro wasn't too bad, all things considered. Once we plastered it all, it was all right.
With it being my only second F1 game, it's probably my favourite F1 game I've been on so far. Obviously, there was the issues that was notable. Still is one major issue to today, but if you set them aside, the game was brilliant. The league system they implemented, I know obviously because of the reserve system in some leagues it couldn't be used, but I did really like that. If not just online, the career mode really stepped it up with the F2 mode in there, and the graphics was a lot better, and the racing was a lot easier with the assists, and then obviously
don't forget the engine sounds.
It was correct with it was correct with the assist, because if you turn the assist off when you learnt it, you'd gain time, whereas a lot more time than on the previous games where it'd only gain you 1 or 2 tenths. Say you take traction control off, you gain about 5 tenths on this game, and it really makes a difference for people who want to invest time in the game. And I think the positives on that have made people become better drivers, as we've seen, and obviously improve themselves racecraft wise and with their pace. And it's been a really enjoyable game, and hopefully F1 2020 carries on of how good this one was.
Yeah, all fingers crossed. When we first have a go at the games in about 4 days' time, I believe it is, from now. So, yeah, I think we're ready to talk about the tiers and also get the votes underway. Not just yet with the votes. Those won't happen for a while, but we'll get people thinking. So I'm going to start things off, as most of us are now here, just to put something, what's the word? I can't think of the phrase. Basically, clear the air to begin with. So the 3 votes that you guys in the chat, this is your control. We have no control over this. It's the chat. Who's the people right now watching live have control over this, over the 3 votes. And obviously, I hope you guys have been thinking about it as well. But the 3 in question are the best race you've watched, the best driver of the league, and the best commentator of the league. Now, with all 3 purposes, maybe not the races, but with the driver and commentator, now I'm obviously going to clear the air on this. I'll look over the votes and obviously decide who is going to, or count up all the votes. Any votes that are of any drivers that's not in the league, or those that have been removed from the commentating role for any sort of reason, and we know why, because we all know. So, to not debate about that, because we don't want to talk about that, obviously, that would just bring down the negative, keep it positive. Any of those votes, any people that try, I'll just ignore them. So it'd be a waste of your time for typing it in, so we all understand that. So just to clear that up, okay? So, basically, right. So the first one to think about is the best race that you've watched. So think about that. And we will start off with Tier 5. Which I believe Blazer has done his research on that. So take it away, Blazer. And I do have some stats, of course, if you want them. So yes, what happened in this tier? And this tier was, yes, maybe the slowest on the pace wise, but it was not short of entertainment.
Yeah, definitely not the quickest tier, but I think they were quite close to the F4 lot, I would say. But overall, it was very entertaining with the F5. I haven't really watched much of the F5, but I watched most as what I can. But yeah, very entertaining that tier was. Of course, in the end, it was the Alpha team that came top with the constructors, but it was the Renault driver of Kazi that took the Drivers' Championship there in F5 ahead of Dominic. But overall, quite a lot of battling happening. Quite a few safety cars. I'll be guessing what's happening. Quite a lot of ups and downs in positions as well. I don't really know this statistic-wise of everything else. Most of my statistic-wise areas more towards Kazi's season. So I don't know as much total of DNFs there was through the end of the whole season.
Three wins for Kazi. I believe those were. If I just
those were Spain, Austria, and Italy. Those 3 wins
you
were.
have researched. Nice.
I have researched Kazi. I did say that. Yeah. So for
cool.
Kazi, 3 wins in Spain, Austria, and Italy. As he got there, he's got 2nd place in Monaco, Japan, USA, and Abu Dhabi. 3rd places in China, Baku, Hungary, and Singapore. And then his the rest of the top 10 finishes, so like from 4th down to 10th, he got in Canada, France, Britain, Mexico. He only finished outside the top 10 once, and that was in Bahrain. He got 2 fastest laps, so which also helped him out with the Drivers' Championship in Britain and Mexico. Funny enough, 15 times he's qualified in the top 10 in F5 for Kazi, but never got a pole position. His closest was in China, where he qualified in 2nd. The only time he qualified outside the top 10 was Bahrain, Europe, Monaco, and Hungary. And then the only races that he didn't take part, didn't start, or actually also didn't finish, was Australia, Germany, Belgium, Russia, and Brazil. So overall, that's what helped Kazi get the Drivers' World Champion. And to be fair, I'll say he's going to be a deserved champion, hopefully to defend his championship in F5 next season, or maybe go for the F4 championship next season.
I mean, looking over the stats, obviously 3 wins, not many, but he was very consistent. 11 podiums, the most of the entire group. I mean, you had RSF1 Eagle and Timonike. It's Timonike. You said Tomonike, I believe, which was funny.
Yep.
But and obviously, guys in the chat, Timonike's meme review is on its way. It's nearly done, apparently. So I don't know when exactly, but be prepared. He's done a lot of work on that. So when you do watch it, it'll be announced, etc. Go and watch it, have a laugh. If you haven't watched the first 2, please do. I've rewatched them many a time. Yeah, the most podiums for Kazi in the end. Obviously, got to point out to Oguna, who was late into the season. He got 6 wins, actually the most in the tier. Really came about, but obviously he was too late in the championship to challenge the top 3. Again, consistency from Kazi. Very well managed from Shane, I believe, in the Renault. Obviously, the Banana Squad is still shouting strong in the chat as well. But yeah, very, very good season. But I would want to point out a stat here that was kindly given to me from Porter, who is the guy with all the stats, and these all fascinated me. I wonder if you guys can guess the person in F5 that had the most positions gained. It was from quite a bit, actually, compared to everyone else.
Oof.
What do you think? Yeah, I'll start with you, Blazer. What do you think? Guy in F5 that had the most positions gained.
Most position gained in F5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say RSF1 Eagle.
Close. Actually, not close. 3 across the whole season. Obviously, these are ups and downs. Obviously, that's just a total, and obviously, any positions cost takes away. So 3 for Eagle. What about you, Primus? Who do you think in F5?
That's a very hard question because I've only ever really commentated over one F5 race. To give a guess, I'm gonna maybe have to say Timmer.
Timmer, ooh, close. Second in the table, 54 for Timmer. Very close. Without looking, Bespoke, because I know you have them, but without looking, who would you say?
I'm stuck
Funny
between
enough,
two.
actually, funny enough, this person was actually second overall the entire league. So, yeah, very good in gaining positions. Go on.
Obviously, all, but winning quite a few.
Who did you say?
Champion.
I think he says
You're
Kezi.
lagging, your voice drop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lagging
Kazi.
a little bit.
Kazi got 6. It was actually RSF1 Lauder. 79.
Wait, what?
Across
Mr. Lauder.
79. RSF1 Lauder, 79. Yeah, so
Congratulations
Lauder
on
and the
that,
Ferrari.
mate.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so well done to
Only we
Lauder.
could get
Yeah,
Nicky
second
Lauder in here.
I know, yeah. Second in the entire league was Lauder. Obviously, we'll get to the first
Wow.
later on. But yeah, 79 across the whole season. But
That's impressive.
yeah, looking at the points table in F5. Do you have the points table in F5, Blazer?
Yes, I got it up right now.
Yeah. Do you want to give us a quick rundown of that before we move on?
So a quick rundown of the Drivers' Championship at the end of the season. AMS Clark or Beach Pro or RSF1 Bottle, as you guys know them, finished with 0 points. Overcome Orphan with 0. Kabuki with a single point with 1. Sim Racing 21 with
Hello, Blazer.
I am correct in hearing he cut off.
Yes, he did. No. But I'll carry on. So, what have we got? Sim Racing with 12. Cosmic Camera with 15. Elham 44 with 18. RSF1 Album with 50 points. Fish Sticks 54. Zombie Head 76. Timmer with 87. Lauder with 101 points. Military Virus 117. RSF1 Budden, who had his solitary win in Monaco, with 148. Oddguna 162. RSF1 Eagle 190. Consistent championship contender. Never won a race in the end. Eagle. 8 podiums, but didn't win. Tim and Ike, with, I believe, the 1 win in Australia. And he was very, very happy about that. He got 214, and our eventual champion, Kazi, with 232. Blazer, you're back. Sorry, I had to continue where you finished off there. You cut off.
That's
Cut off there.
yeah, my controller turned off and I didn't even notice.
So you were just reading, and as soon as you heard
So I
Brumble
was
start reading the
reading and
table, was like, what the?
my controller just turns itself off, so I'm like, oh dear.
Yeah. So tier 5, very entertaining overall, and congratulations to Kazi Babes for the championship victory, and everyone in F5 that produced the great entertainment whenever a race was on. So congratulations to that. Right, moving on to tier 4. Now, Top Notch was meant to be here, but unfortunately he's not. So I'll take control of that. Just a quick rundown of tier 4. Obviously, eventual champion RSF1 Maniac in the Toro Rosso. 1 solitary victory for Maniac. He did a Keke Rosberg in real life for him, which I believe was the United States Grand Prix late on in the season. And he was not necessarily gifted that, but he gained the victory because he gained the victory because of a penalty late on for Catastrophe, in-game corner cutting penalty, so ended up winning that race. But yeah, a very, very entertaining season. Obviously, both Primus and Blazer were part of it. So you were obviously in the depths. We'll go over a few things, obviously, with you two in a second. But obviously, in the end, Quaker Oats and Gruntastrophe joined relatively midway throughout the season. And but had a great run of form. I think it was like 6 podiums. It was like 2 second places and 4 wins in the last like 7 races. So fantastic form towards the end. Just missed out on the championship. But it was really the Connor Todd, Quaker Oats, and Maniac kind of near the front, consistently putting through 10 podiums for Quaker and Maniac. As I said, 4 for Quaker Oats. Connor Todd with the 1 win as well. But yeah, they were consistently going through that. But it was very entertaining season. Had a lot of safety cars, I must say. The only place, I think there was only 2 places in the entire season that didn't have a safety car in the end after they patched it. And that was Monaco and one other.
USA.
But yeah, they were
Ironic, eh?
Yeah, USA, I think, is well. Yeah, ironic. Monaco. In fact, I think Monaco, weird to say, was the less entertaining. Not to bring it down, but it was the less entertaining of the races.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that one.
Now I'm depressed.
And now I'm depressed. Yes, especially on that one.
First vote is after Tier 4, after we've analysed Tier 4 in the chat. So be prepared for that. And I will start sort of like a 5-minute countdown, then you can vote between then and we'll add them up. So that's how it's going to work. So I know a few people waiting on that. But yeah, Primus, obviously you had a little bit of a rivalry with Junior, I believe, in the early part of the season between you two. I believe you patched things up. Well, there was nothing to patch up, but you were still fine. It seemed to have magnets between you two in the first 4 or so races, which got a lot of interest. I think someone else pointed it. No Shells has pointed it out as well. But a decent season from yourself, Primus. How many podiums was that? 3 podiums as well. So a solid season, considering you stepped up from Tier 5 last season. So pretty decent result. How do you feel? How do you feel moving on?
Went weird.
Looking back.
Yeah. So to go on about with me and Junior, we did kind of have a rivalry. I mean, we did have a little bit of battles in season 1. But season 2, it was a clean slate. We did make contact a couple of times. So I'd say like how mine and Junior's relationship in the F4 division was kind of like Hamilton and Vettel. We don't like, off track, they were like, pretty good mates. But then on track, it was a bit of a different ball game. There was times where we did hit each other, where sometimes it was Junior and then sometimes it was me. It sort of calmed down near the mid-season because when Maniac had like the roughest starts. I think I remember he DNF'd with me maybe in Australia, but Maniac built up that pace, and then I think in terms of driver rivalry, yeah, me and Junior all the way. In terms of team rivalry, Mercedes and Toro Rosso probably bumped heads the most in terms of the F4 season. Speaking of myself and my former teammates and current team, Braver Container, we all kept on having this one thing where poor Maniac is fighting to catch up to previous ball driver Kid Cudi and Quaker Oats. And he would be annoyed to be in the gearbox of a Mercedes. Never hated it more than being stuck behind one. So it's the same with both, really. Like Bodder as well. I have to give a massive shout out to Bodder. He did tremendous, and he had to retire from his race seat in Toro Rosso near the end. So I was kind of ashamed to see him retire, but everyone's got their reasons. overall, yeah, just to sum up, it was a really good season. I overall really enjoyed it. Had really good moments with Junior, with Blazer Guns, with Maniac, and I'd say maybe just once or so, maybe Quaker Oats. There's the German Grand Prix. That was quite a fun one. I mean, like, you know, F4 had its real ups and downs, but as a division, I think it was really fun. Like, you know, me speaking from a completely neutral standpoint, because I've seen really tremendous racing from all of the divisions.
Yeah. And I've already said this, and it was a pleasure to commentate on one of my most exciting seasons to see the story unfold. I didn't know when it was going to end, and it came down to a very tense Singapore rerun in the rain. It was the last race, or last official race to date we got on this, and it was very tense, very exciting, and yeah, hung on a knife edge pretty much between Quaker Oats and Maniac. It was between the two going into that race, and one position either way change would have changed the whole story as well of that championship, where it was going to go. But yeah, fantastic stuff. You guys know this question already, because I already asked you before we went live, but 2 people in the entire league made Q3 every time apart from once. And one of them is in this tier. So, guys in the chat, I'll give you like a minute to guess on that. So, there's one person in this tier, in tier 4, that made Q3 all but once. And he's one of 2 people in the entire league that did so. So, have a go at that.
Are you talking about F4 Snow? Not you.
Oh, brilliant.
He wants to talk about himself. We will. Hold on to on to something. Yes, maybe.
Because he's in F5, not F4. Snow, come
on. Also, looking at positions gained, Porter with the most, 55. One ahead of Wobbles, 54. And Maniac with 53. So that's another thing really that pushed. Another thing that really pushed Maniac to the championship victory. And actually looking at it, that's the difference between him and Quaker Oats. 53 for Maniac, minus 39 for Quaker Oats. Yes, there are many opportunities. Yeah, minus 39. 3 DNFs for Quaker compared to the 2 of Maniac. So, yeah, pretty much the difference, I'd say, in the positions. It always seemed that Maniac didn't really qualify that well, but always pushed forward. I was managed to kind of stay in the right place at the right time. That's why he only won once, but had like 10 podiums.
That's one thing I noticed about Maniac. Even though he's not as strong in qualifying, but in the race, he knows what he's doing. He gets his head down and he goes.
He goes what?
He just. Oh right, sorry. He just goes for it. There we go. Sorry. I don't know why
I agree also.
Like that.
I agree also, but you cannot doubt, like, you know, both of them had one thing in common. Again, the quality pace thing. You know, they both didn't have the best, but when it came to sheer race pace, those 2 were in a league of their own. Yes, sometimes they had to deal with quite a bit of traffic in between each other, battling for a podium / race win. But it's you know, you got to hold their race pace into account. Like, I've never seen drivers with such incredible like craftsmanship in terms of racing quality.
I just go over the table before I reveal who that person is. You guys haven't got it. Grunt made Q3 10 times. So yeah, so it's not Grunt.
Really think about it, guys. Really
think about it.
Brundle said that Grunt joined mid-season. How can he get Q3 in races? He isn't even racing.
There's that too. Thank you, Beastbro.
Look at the table.
Quick rundown to the table. Chrismic with 0 points, unfortunately, although he only did a few races. Brave Container 2 points, TYG Rogue with 10, Carlin with 18, Wagsy with 22, Koala with 23, Cross Kerry, who won his got the only points that Cross Kerry got was the race win he got in Singapore, which helped his teammate win the Drivers' Championship. So MVP Cross Kerry in terms of Toro Rosso team. Tedist with 29, Wobbles 42, Graded Vinny 44, Scotsman 53, Laser Guns 59, Porter 88, Junior 88, so level points there, Daniel 93, Primus Gamer 108, Grunt had 142, Connor Todd 155, Quakerotes 211, Maniac 221, so 10 points in the end, very close, but there he goes. So
very funny. Nice joke there, Element.
I think it's time to announce who that driver was you was talking about, Brundle.
yeah, it wasn't Connor
Yeah.
Todd, it was 13 for Connor Todd.
Got it. I think somebody's got it.
What?
I think
Who's
somebody's
got
got it.
Yeah, Kachal's right, it's Quaker
Kachal's got it.
Hey, well done. Well done, Kachal.
So congratulations to Kachal and congratulations to Quakerites. 20 times he made Q3.
Well
Missed
done.
only once.
Yep. Well
That's
done,
incredible.
Quick Up. And well done, Kachal, for guessing that right. You won a teddy bear.
Disclaimer
Sorry,
by the
I
way
haven't been
that if
savage
you get any
sometimes.
of these questions or anything like that correct, we will not be responsible for what happens in transit of your gift, as if there is one.
You'll get a cookie from me as well. You get a cookie from me as well. Cookie. Right, yeah, and there's one other person in the entire league that made 20 times in Q3, and we'll reveal that later as well. But it's time for the first vote. Right, Primus, could you put like loads of X's or loads of stars so I know where to cut it off or know where to start it?
In the stream?
Yes, in the chat, so I know kind of when to start and when to stop.
Okay, so give me one
I was
moment.
going to say Porter. Porter actually had a guess. He was the one that sent me the stats, and he didn't get it right. He missed a trick.
Alright, I'm going to do the first load of X's. Tell me when to post them, and then that's when we get going.
That's when we can start. So this is the best race that you have watched. Now try to avoid races you have taken part in, guys. Try and keep it less biased because, for example, I can just say F2 Canada. That's because I won it, even though it was entertaining. But obviously there's a reason why I chose that, because I won it. So try to avoid that. Right, so now we can start.
Done. Oh, my message has been checked by
I've got to allow it. I've got to allow it.
It's just
Why is
sexist.
it
There's
not?
nothing inappropriate about that.
Yeah, so
Wow.
5 minutes begins now. So in
We
that
got 3
5
coming in straight away.
minutes,
Jeez.
in that 5 minutes, right, let's talk about our own views on that. Beast Pro.
Yep.
I know you haven't talked for a while, Beast Pro. So your opinion, best race this season. Yes, you can pick one that you raced in if you want. If you can't think of any, but what do you think? There's quite a few to choose from.
I'm going to go with the one of the most entertaining races I've seen, which was F3 in Russia, where there was the battle all race long for the lead in Stygian and Camo, which had been a season-long rivalry, and it came to an unlucky on the behalf of Camo, which gave Stygian his first win in the season, and it was a brilliant race. And that it was just end-to-end, a lot of battling from every driver, but the two main people in that whole battle was Stygian and Camo, and I can't think of a battle better than that in the league that I've watched.
Okay, what about you, Primus?
I've got a couple, but it's sort of I'm like balancing in my hands because I watched a few races over in like all the other seasons, including my own as well, and also the ones I've commentated. A good point out by Element Snow. F2 Russia was actually quite good, but right now I'm stuck between F2 Russia and F4 Abu Dhabi, because when I rewatched F4 Abu Dhabi, the battle between Quaker Oats and Maniac began and ended with the pair of them on each other. They kept on going no matter what happened. Safety car, virtual safety car. They just wouldn't get off of each other, and even to the bitter end, they're like outright battling. Really kept everyone, including myself and Blazer, because that was also Blazer's first ever commentating session. No, I wasn't. No, sorry, no, you was commentating now. What am I thinking? I'm only going to bet two. Anyways, yeah. So I was watching that. I was hooked. I was like, oh my god, like I was racing that race. So when I rewatched it, I was like, oh my god, this is actually a really good battle. But personally, putting my racing aside, because I'm trying to be professional when it comes to my voice, I think my favourite race that I've watched in all of RSF1 has to be F4 Abu Dhabi. It was thoroughly entertaining, a championship on the line, and it went, and they kept it going to Singapore. So I thoroughly think that's my choice.
Okay, fair enough. 2 minutes left, chat. 2 minutes left. Not everyone has voted. I've only had a few votes. I can see who's winning. But two minutes left, guys. So get your votes in. For me personally, I'll go to you, Blazer, actually, next. Sorry. I'm jumping over you.
That's fine. For me, yes, I've only been commentating for this league for a few times, but if I was going to go for the one that I watched, that I helped commentate, the best one I've seen was F2 Austria, which had to be rerun, of course. Because that, Brundle, you got your pole position then, but it was the championship battle.
I was going to say first or second run of that.
Yeah, the second run, of course, with the championship battle as well. That was happening. Between, who was in Div 2 again? Tomic Bresner and Rapid Sprays at the time. It was very entertaining. Who was going to come out on top?
I have to say, there's not a lot of love for F4 or F5 at the moment.
I know. I'm disappointed here. But also, if I was
F5 Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, if I was going for a race in my tier, I probably would say I'm not going to go for my the Baku one. I'm going to stay away from that one. Now I'll be completely biased. I think the entertaining one I've had and I watched was in F4. I would probably say it was USA. For me, it was very entertaining seeing
that's a good choice.
Battling up and down. Myself with Junior battling. Koala, Maniac, Gonchasovy, everybody battling. It was hard to tell. Also, Italy, F4, Italy as well. 100% could be up there as well.
Primus, stars up, please. Votes now closed. Well, be closed as... Wow, you're quick. Jeez. Well, you were prepared, weren't you?
The X's ready, mate. I was waiting for the go-ahead, I put them in the chat bar, and I'm like, come on.
Right. Thank you for everyone that voted. There's a few interesting ones in there. Thank you, Jay Locker, for saying F2 Canada. Thank you very much. I'm sure it's not because I won. Sure, it's because of the entertainment and everything else. Mixed conditions that was as well. But few big contenders in that. Rapids, that was kind of a bit late under the X's, but I guess I can add that one. But the best race, as voted by the chat viewers, the 20 or so people watching, is F1 Bahrain.
Oh,
which is one I didn't think of.
Oh, I didn't think
one
of that.
I didn't think of, but thinking about it now, that's a very good call, actually, because that was entertainment and plenty, and considering it was like second race of the season for them, Yeah, very, very entertaining. So good call, chap. Very good call. Close one was F1 Austria, F3 Baku, F2 Russia, F3 Russia, F2 Japan, and F2 Canada in there as well.
There's no F4. Sad.
Yes.
I know, that's what I'm going
Both
about.
championship.
That's what I took out from the limb saying one of the F4 races.
Both finales, F4 and F5, were great to watch. Especially F5 because that could have gone again like F4. That could have gone either way. And the two, I can't remember who did the commentary on that one as well. I think it was Junior and Grunt, who them two, the combination has been great whenever they've done it together. Yeah, I was on tenterhooks watching it back. So
I think that might have been maybe Raikkonen and Webster. I don't know.
was it?
I think so. I remember
I know Raikkonen and Webster did a race.
Raikkonen took he was gonna cover on a race. I think originally it was going to be me and Raikkonen, but then Webster wanted to get him. Webster wanted to join, so in the end, I think it was Raikkonen and Webster for that last race.
F1 Bahrain was Shane and Webster together.
Oh,
Yes, them two together, and the racing in that. Definitely remember that race now. Right, thank you, chat. So best race was F1 Bahrain. So congrats to that race.
keep notes of that.
Right, so right, next vote the chat is going to vote for, and this will be after we've reviewed tier 3 and tier 2. And then we're going to vote for the second one, then we'll chat about tier 1, and then we'll go for the last vote. So the second vote, and reminder, you cannot, so it's pointless to vote for anybody that used to drive in RSF1. But it's the best driver of the season. Now, not necessarily... Go on.
I was thinking, considering driver, out of all the drivers that we've had in RSF1, shall we save that for last? That'll be the best, we go over the fastest division, and then we've got the best driver.
I kind of agree with that one.
So you save the best for last, because being crowned the best driver is almost as good as being a champion.
Right, swap round then. Beast Bro, do you agree? Do you want to swap it round?
Yeah, I'm happy either way.
Okay then, right. Well,
You're not
fair
paying
enough.
attention that much, aren't you? You're just like one of those
Just say
people
yes.
just going to sit there
Nodding
nodding
yes.
their head, going, yeah.
Nodded yes.
Smile and wave.
Not
Smile and wave.
Smile and wave. All right then, we'll save the best driver for last then. Right, fine, let's swap it around. So, refresh then. What I meant to say was, right, so the next thing to think about is the best commentator. Now again, similar to the driver, we're not counting anybody who was removed for certain reasons. Again, we're all adults, we know why, etc., etc. So, vote for somebody that put the most effort into commentating, basically. Whether it was formation laps, their first lap ones, because there were some absolute beauties out there. Overall kind of combination. You can do a combination of 2 or 1. If you vote for 2, that they'll both get a vote each. So start thinking about that, guys. We'll have that after F2 review. So still a couple to go through, and then we'll start about that. So let's move on with the tier reviews. We'll go on to tier 3, which Beast Pro has been doing some research about that. So Beast Pro, if you take it away with F3, which I know there's going to be people in the chat that say it was the most entertaining season, and they have a very good shout at that of the whole of the tiers. But yes, what can you say about tier 3? Very competitive tier 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very competitive, and I'll back you up by that. In the first 7 races, there were 6 different race winners, with only the championship winner in the end, Camo, winning more than 1 race. So it just showed the competitiveness from the start, and it ended like the same way. But an integral part to this season was the first race at Australia, where Camo got his season off to a great start, getting P1. And also, I've got a few little stats about the first retirements in Australia, which was first in F3 season. The first one in qualifying was McCracken, who obviously didn't race much in F3 this season. But he retired on his out lap in Q1 at Australia, which I spoke to him about. He found it quite funny, but it wasn't the best start. But obviously, he did come back in the race and did really well. And then in the race, the first time was RSF Seal, who retired into turn 3, just starting from the front. So there's an integral part to the start of the season, but it carried on the whole way through with Camo obviously keeping up the whole season with Dangerous Dan on 3 wins all season, which to say he's won it by the margin of 48 points, only 3 wins does surprise me. It shows how consistent he was throughout the season.
Yeah, similar to Kazi in the way, because he got a lot of podiums. Camo did. Also got a lot of driver of the days, so he has a lot of fans. Yeah, again, like Kazi, very consistent. I think what it was is because he was constantly under pressure. That the reason that Tier 3 was so competitive was you had Camo, Dangerous Dan, Muddy Biscuit, VRC Dan, Patronus, Stygian, all consistently up there. I think it was like 3 races to go. You still had 6 of them in contention. But I think what did it for Camo was every time that Camo won, his rivals weren't scoring that well, or weren't scoring as well, I noticed, when looking over this. So kind of gaining where others kind of fell or kind of faltered a little bit. So had his wits about him, basically, I think is the best phrase of that.
Yeah, Camo's racecraft proved well throughout the season. Obviously, winning the championship proves that, but also he only retired once all season, which I believe was in Bahrain. Yeah. So it just shows his consistency throughout the season of being able to keep the car on track, and it really did come out well in the end for him. But in qualifying, he wasn't the best driver overall, with a very strong performance from the Williams driver of Stygian, with 5 poles throughout the season. Obviously, he was unlucky to not get more race wins than he did with just the 1, which only, because of his race wins, it only allowed him to be able to get 6th in the championship. I think it was 6th in the championship, but he did hit 177 points, which is obviously a great feat for drivers. And in this division, 7 drivers hit the 100-point mark, which is obviously a great feat within the season. And I believe we've got a message from the championship winner somewhere here.
I did put that in there.
Yep, let me find it. Okay.
That was the thing about F3, wasn't it? Is that so many people had the opportunity to be at the front. Basically, it was very tight at the top. Q3 was always entertaining to watch because you never knew who was going to be on pole until they topped the lap. Yeah, the message from Camo, or the paragraph from Camo that we've got.
Camo started off saying, firstly, I'd like to thank you for the whole of F3 for making it such a good season. From the start to finish, there was always respect on track, and there wasn't anyone I didn't like to race with. Why we had the best tier, the amount of respect we had on track, and we knew it'd be a good race week in, week out. I'm very proud to win the championship in F3. It was a tough battle from start to finish, with all drivers making it very difficult because the tier was so close on pace. I want to give special thanks to Muddy Biscuit, who was his teammate. He said he couldn't ask for a winning the constructors was definitely deserved from them both. All to thank Duffer and Eyes the Best, who I practiced with on frequent occasions before races, who helped me win the title. and he hopefully Duffer can keep it up for the next season, on to season 3. So Camo seems proud, obviously getting a double title. And the Haas team really deserved it, with accumulating 441 points in the end.
A note to add on from F3. I've noticed as well, like for overall champions / constructors for RSF1 as a whole, Haas has been quite a lucky car.
It has, yeah. Double champion, Tier 3 and Tier 5. Obviously, sorry, forgot to mention that in Tier 5. But yeah, very good. They ran Alpha close in the overall constructors in the end, 138 point behind. But yeah, maybe that could be the car to have next season. You know, so many people want certain cars. But yeah, if you want success, it turns out it's those two. But yeah, very good. Do you want to have a quick rundown of the table? Beast Pro?
Yep, so we're going to go from the bottom upwards. So we had Dan23X racing for Red Bull, accumulating 1 point. RSF1 Hunt 22 in the Mercedes, scoring 2 points. RSF1 Duffer in the Ferrari, scoring 8. RSF1 Raikkonen also in the Ferrari, scoring 9 points. Rakyak in the Renault scored 10. RSF1 Stretch, or as other known as WR Stretch, scored 28 points in the Red Bull. Jorik scored 29 points in the McLaren. Top Notch scored 46 points in the Toro Rosso. RSF1 Falcon scored 48 points in the Mercedes. Old Manzi scored 66 points in the Racing Point. RSF1 K-Mag scored 81 points in the Williams. Street Racing F1 scored 87 points in the Racing Point. Eyes the Best scored 107 in the Toro Rosso. Stygian 177 in the Williams. Patronus 179 in the Alfa Romeo. VRC Dan got 193, which was the exact same as Muddy Biscuit, joint and third with 193 racing for the Haas team. And in second place on 200 points exactly was Dangerous Dan. And obviously our champion of season 2 Division 3 was Camo 432, ended on 248 points for the Haas team. Well, a great season from himself and all the other 19 drivers on the grid.
Yeah, very, very, very good F3. Definitely a pleasure to watch all season. Blazer, did you watch a few of F3 races?
No, not as much. I think the only F3 race I've actually watched would be the first ever one in Australia. I've been so busy at work, and so I can never really catch the F3, but I catch the first ever race of it. And I knew even from after the first race in F3, it was going to be very entertaining, and it just proved it did.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the stats, a few rundown of the stats in F3. Obviously, Camo with the most wins, equal though with Dangerous Dan with 3, also Muddy Biscuit with 2. Camo, VRC Dan with 9 podiums, Dangerous Dan with 8. In terms of position gained, RSF1 Falcon tops the table with 53. RSF1 Hunt 47, Patronus 47, and Old Manzi 44. Another thing as well with F3, only 2 people missed out on Q3 throughout the entirety of the season. Showed how competitive qualifying it was in that tier, but yet again, very good from F3. Another tier that provided entertainment, so thank you very much. Right, F2. We move on. We've only got 2 more to go, so we're nearly there, boys. But F2, we will head over to, I believe you commentated every race this season, Primus, I believe.
Yep. Perfectly commentated over every single race. There wasn't one session I missed, so I'm happy I caught all of them.
Yeah. Now, obviously, with F2, it struggled in the last couple of weeks because of a couple of drivers. Again, we know the reasons why of that. So again, we will not mention too much about that, it was just a shame, basically. As I was driving part of it, it was a shame to lose those drivers for all those reasons. And yeah, especially considering how competitive F2 was, it was stupidly close on qualifying on many occasions. I mean, Spain was one of them. I made one mistake in Spain and I ended up in 13th and not going through the Q3. So, yes, but so it struggled towards the end, but let's take nothing away from F2. F2 was, well, I'll let you say it, considering you watched it. Why am I bambling on? Go on.
Well, F2, previously in RSF1 with Bodder, I commentated over the F2 division every Tuesday I did with Bodder. F2 this year, this season, we moved into the Sundays, so it was more easy for me to commentate. It was very interesting to see how the season really panned out, because going from the start, really, there was some good close racing. We had People's Champion Peppermeat. Everyone loved Peppermeat. As soon as Peppermeat really got into the racing, everyone loved them. You had returning faces such as the Man with the Cash, who was very thirsty for some wins. He actually was probably one of the best qualifiers in terms of provisional poles. I think he had quite a lot of provisional poles.
I'll stop you there because he actually had the most Q3s, 19. Out of a total of 16. So there you go. There, proves your point.
Man with the Cash being crowned obviously the best in terms of the Q3s in F2. The first few races was very fun, very entertaining. At the time, really, two cars was making a good impression immediately, and that was both the Alfa Romeos, consisting of Toto, who was previously known as RSF1 Schumacher, in case you lot have watched the beginning parts of the season and not actually watched the end parts. RSF1 Schumacher is RS Toto Wolff. So it was Schumacher and Bresner doing very, very well, getting some good consecutive points and good finishes. Good pace overall as a team, good camaraderie. Ferrari, who was pretty much their biggest rivals, did struggle a little bit at first, but then when Rapid Sprays finally joined in the fray, instantly made a dent into the Alfa Romeo's good sort of good luck streak. There was other good people in there, like the Racing Points was really good. I saw a lot of toe-whips get flown about. I think main point of interest is that the Man with the Cash did win the British Grand Prix, so a load of people are really happy to see that. And also, the Pink Panthers, they were also very good championship rivals, but in the end, Ferrari ended up being in the second spot in terms of the real battles. Anyways, yeah, as the season went on, it was me and Element Snow for a while. And then near the end, it was me and Blazer. We commentated I've commentated over every single race, had a couple of reruns, and as you said, Brundle, we had a couple of questionable races, but we're trying to be positive here, so I'm going to try and steer clear of them. But overall, though, the real battle, the real trio, before Toto had a bit of a he wanted to leave for a little bit, and he came back. Obviously, his points were removed. But for a while, Toto was actually the championship rival to Tomek Bresner. And after Schumacher had left, Toto Wolff, after he'd left and come back, obviously he had no points, the position of second place and championship contender shifted to Rapid Sprays. And actually, Rapid Sprays continued to hold a streak from Japan on to the very end. Every single race, because I know in Japan he had his win revoked due to a steward report after an incident. Before the penalty, Rapid Sprays had actually won every single race of the season from Japan onwards. After the penalty, obviously, you might minus that one, but after Japan, so it was America onwards, Rapid Sprays won each race. He did everything right. He had to deal with contenders like the Man with the Cash, Bresner, and Toto. I think Rapid Sprays really did put himself in there as one of the most exciting drivers in the F2 division due to like his race pace was really good, his quali pace was quite good, not really too much rivaled, like the amount of cash much better obviously, but it was a very, very entertaining season. Had really good camaraderie. You had a few drivers that are also flying tributes to family or anything like that. So to see F2 nicely tied together, supporting those, it was a very beautiful sight, obviously. But then it really got interesting near the end because obviously Austria got cancelled due to a massive disconnection problem. I think it was maybe like a hacking on the Xbox servers, so that got pushed away.
Something
to the
like
end.
that.
Yeah, it got pushed to the end of the season. After a very intense Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which me and Blazer was in, it got the battle pushed on to Austria. And actually, Austria F2 was the most least cars I'd seen on a grid, but still extremely exciting battle. Rapid Sprays did amazing all the way through. In the last race, he got pole. He won the race, sorry. You got pole in the qualifying, Brundle.
Mm-hmm.
Rapids, however, he did everything right. He did his strategies well. He did everything he physically could. But in the end, due to the great teamwork, because at the end, Toto sacrificed his final possible podium for Season 2 in RSF1, and he gave it to Tomic to help secure him the championship position. So again, the chemistry between both those Alfa Romeo drivers have been, nothing short of incredible. I've never seen such a really good duo in RSF1 in terms of teams. We've never seen them bicker. We've not seen them. We've always seen them working perfectly in sync. Whoever's the fastest, they let the other one go. They benefited the team. They put the team's beliefs first, better more than bravado or personal showmanship. Those two, in my opinion, also out of the entire league, I think RS Toto Wolff and Tomic Bresner, hands down, have been the most perfect teammates, period, in Season 2. Anyways, enough of that. But anyways, so the long, hard battles, Rapid Sprays only just missed out on becoming the F2 champion of Season 2. It got awarded to Tomic Bresner. I actually have a speech from, something sent to me, us, from Bresner. Bresner said, first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone who was a part of this season in RSF1, especially to my teammates from Alfa Romeo across all divisions. We worked hard as a team. We worked as a team, and we always helped each other. Big thanks to my teammate Toto, who was always very quick, but even though he was still in the championship battle, he was fair and still was there for me and for the team. My season started very well in Australia, where I finished second, but then I had 4 absolutely horrible races: Bahrain, where I was outside of the points, China P8, Baku DNF, and Spain outside the points too. Then came my favourite, Monaco, and I took pole, which was a great feeling, but unfortunately I had an accident in turn 1 and finished the race P7, I think. But my confidence was back after this race, and next Sunday in Canada, I was back on the podium. In France, I was again on the podium. Then in Britain, I won for the first time in RSF1, and to be honest, this was my best race of the season. Next in Germany, I won again, and that was my 4th podium in a row. I had a bad race in Hungary where I could have been on the podium, but I had an incident with the car behind and lost my front wing, so I finished P9. Belgium, I was in the podium in the race with a lot of safety cars. One of the toughest races was in Italy. I finished 5th there. Singapore, because of rain and wrong setup, I was 7th. Less than a second of victory, I was in Russia, but anyway, it was a very good race in P2. In Japan, I lost front wing in turn 1, and I was last after lap 1, but I got back and finished 3rd. In Mexico and USA, I finished 4th. In Brazil, thanks to safety car and penalties, I was on the podium with P3. In Abu Dhabi, sorry, that's some guy on his bike. In Abu Dhabi, I had a great battle with my championship rival Rapids, and very important 2nd place. In championship decider in Austria was Rapids again, extremely fast, but I finished 3rd because my teammate let me through on the finish line, and that was enough points so I could start celebrating. So that was Bresner, the championship winner in 2nd season of RSF1 in the F2 division, which it's been absolutely privileged for me to commentate over these guys battling, including you, Brundle. You've had your good moments, especially in Canada again with your win. everyone in the F2 division, current/former, there was a couple of moments there was some questionable moves, but we won't go on about that. But everyone who took part and gave some really good battles, well done, especially to Bresner and Toto and Rapids for just missing out. To go over the Constructors title, obviously Alfa Romeo did win. And to go over the Drivers' Championship, going from last to first, TCR Spursy was in last with 2 points. DRM Marco had 4 points. Brundle, which doesn't make sense considering you had the win in Canada.
I'll go over that. My points were on there, but because I technically went to reserve, but then was not a reserve,
they were
it's
taken
confusing.
away.
Yes,
okay,
etc.
Okay, so
messy. Carry on.
Brundle in 18th with 7 points. Toto 17th with 8 points. Kachal 16th with 9 points. Agreeable Racer in 15th. Hang on, 20th, 19th. Okay. Agreeable Racer next with 12 points. Seal then with 40. Peppermeat with 58. Lukey with 60. RSF1 Shame with 67. WR Peanut with 98. Then going into the 3 digits, in 4th was Jay Slee with 144. The Man with the Cash with 153. Rapid Sprays with 218. And then Bresner in front with 234. Need to remind you that the points have not been updated since the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The Austrian Grand Prix point still needs to be added up, but those are the points as of Abu Dhabi. But the table pretty much remains unshifted. So yeah, that was the F2 division.
Thank you very much. In terms of the stats, I just run over a few. 6 wins for Rapid Sprays, the most Toto Wolff and Brezina and Peanut all with 2. Podiums, 11 for Brezina. It's that word consistency once again. Did the most. Drive of the days, equal top. Peppermeat and Toto Wolff 3 each. So Peppermeat, the People's Champion, proves his tagline there. Positions gained, DRM Marco tops the table with 55, Brezina 46, Peppermeat 37, Man with the Cash with 19 Q3 participations, as I said. Yeah, very, very good F2. It was actually a pain to be a part of sometimes because of how close it was for me personally, but I kept saying to Rapid Spray as my teammate, I said, I hate how close this is, but I love it. Why? But yeah, right, we'll take a break from that because the next vote is up. So, Primus, you ready with your stars?
Ready and waiting.
X's? Sweet. Right, so this is the vote for the best commentator of the season. Again, I will ignore votes for anybody that is not part of the comms team anymore. So, or was removed for any such way. Those that have left on their own accord, you can still count those, etc. But there we go. Right, so 3, 2, 1, begin. Sweet.
Punctual.
Right. Right, so let's talk about the commentators. So, great support, as ever, from all the comms team. Obviously, I'm now in the new role of head of comms. So, and I have to say thank you very much for the support, especially the last few weeks, because we did lose a few commentators for varying reasons. So we had a lot of people just jumping in, standing in, and giving their support for everyone. So obviously starting with you, Blazer, and Beast Pro. He jumped in a couple of times. Blazer, you took over F2 as well in the last few weeks. Very good. Thank you very much again, because you took it with a lot of research, a lot of and you've both enjoyed it as far as I'm aware. So
you
signed up for next season. So
You did, you found your feet very well. I mean, you did have previous like comms experience, but like it was the fact was is that you'd used to being on your own, Blazer, and the fact was is like the first time you was
Yeah,
working with me, it was like you was kind of nervous. Like you had that experience. It was like, oh God, I've never really worked with someone before, so
hmm
you definitely found your feet very fast because you started off a little bit quiet in Abu Dhabi, but near on, I'd say just near the end of qualifying, beginning of the race, you just suddenly just bloomed. You just opened up immediately, and then like you found your ground, and then you just started getting better from then. And then Austria, that was a completely different ball game, mate. That was like next level compared to Abu Dhabi. Like you personally as a commentator working in like a duo compared to being on your own, you've done pretty good.
yeah. Thank you. And it was a major step up. I mean, as you said, yeah, commentating like the whole season on WOR in their bottom tier on my own. So getting used to having a teammate in the commentator's booth was gonna take some time getting used to, but it didn't take me as long. It only took me pretty much the first race to understand what's gonna happen, and I was pretty happy with it. And I'm glad that I'll be signing for the comms role again next season, and to continue with it because I absolutely love it. Uh, as my passion for racing. There's a lovely comment from Snow, so thank you for that, mate.
I must remind those that are voting, I did say anyone who is still part of comms team this season, so might have to alter a few of those there. So just a reminder, I did say. Another person I need to congratulate is Grunt, because he's another one that once I realised I needed a place to be filled, Gruntastrophe came in. It's now RSF1 Grunt, obviously. And I'd love to say a good story of about Gruntastrophe, because I said he needed to go through a little test before. And I said I picked him a race for I picked him a race to review, turned down the volume so he didn't hear any of the commentators, and did it as if he was. So, and basically I said, well, you have until like do the first 3 or 4 laps. 3 or 4 laps, etc. He was brilliant, basically. I stopped him after lap 1. He was that good. And it was great just watching him. And he has taken to the role very, very nicely. So, hang on, let me just get Primus back. Where are we? Sorry about this, got to invite him back to the party, had some issues there. There we go. There we go. Right, thank you. Right, I'll reiterate, please. So please listen. Anybody that was removed for any sort of reason, we know why, and we were told, etc. I'm not counting any of them. So, yeah. So please listen, guys. All right. What else as well? Obviously, I would love to have Rebster and Bodder back. They were great. They're commentating, and obviously they have moved on to other things, etc. With Assetto Corsa and so on and so forth. Obviously, I'd love to have them back, but it is up to them to decide on that as well. So, I did send you an invite, Primus. Hang on. Yeah. So, what about You guys,
Sorry.
Beast Bro. I'll start with you.
Sorry about
If you had to pick, a commentator out of all the ones we've had so far, this season, obviously apart from yourself, can't pick yourself for obvious reasons. But if you had to pick one, who would you pick?
I don't think I'd be able to pick one on the basis of I like them as a duo with Raikkonen and Rebster when they did a few of the F5 races together. Obviously, when I was racing in F5, I liked to watch them back, and it was very entertaining listening to them both. Both know what they're on about, and they both created an amazing spectacle to watch, and I really enjoyed them both together.
Yeah. What about you, Blazer?
Is this for best commentators? I've literally just blacked out. Yeah, I mean, there's been so many great commentators throughout this whole season. It's hard to pick just specific one, but at the moment, I can't really pick one. All I can say is the original two from the F2 comms, so Primus and Snow. I think
Someone
they
picked me.
did really well, and all I gotta say, it's actually kind of good to hear them commentating, even especially with Snow's weird formation lap thing, which kind of sounds a little bit constipated, but yeah,
formation laps.
yeah, which does sound a bit constipated, but
Nice.
you know, it happens.
Wow. I would not have said that.
I put it on the
you know
chat
what-
multiple times in the F2 as well when I say it's like, why do you sound constipated?
And Element didn't even argue against it. He's just like, it's my formation laps, and just carried on.
Yeah. 2 minute warning, chat. 2 minute warning. So get your votes in, please. What else? You know what it reminded me of? A formation lap. I don't know if you guys have ever played F1 99 or F1 2000. They used to have a.
Oh,
You're going
Was
back.
it alive then?
Oh, they used to
Murray Walker,
have.
yeah.
No, not Murray Walker. It had like a. No, what was it? Right. Type in when you can, probably after the stream or whatever. Type in Championship Challenge or Championship. That game called Championship Challenge, where you could do multiple seasons, right? They had a narrator in the background that said, "In pole position, Michael Schumacher.
Yeah. Oh
In
yeah.
second
I know
place,
what you're talking about.
David
Yeah,
Coulthard."
I
You see,
remember that one.
That's what it reminded him. That's what it reminded me of
By the
every
way,
single time.
I just wanted to
Yes.
throw in my vote for best commentator.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go on.
And this is me being completely neutral. I'm not going for favourites. I'm going by pure proficiency as a down-to-earth, really good commentator. I'm going to have to give it to you, Brundle. You've
Oh,
stepped up
no.
to the role as head commentator, well, head of the comms team. You've also been watching over F4 and other divisions, but mainly F4. I mean, you did F1 recently as well. But yeah, I mean, when you joined the comms team, you know, you was really serious with your work. As much as I'd like to pick people like Bodder or Rebster, I think purely because of the work that you've displayed and you taking on the role as the head of the team and doing it really well, I have to personally say I'd give that my vote to you as best commentator of the season.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, honestly. Yeah, as I said, I couldn't have done the role without the support. You know, whenever I said, "Right, we need someone to do whatever there is," I've always got like several people jumping on it. So yes, thank you. And again, next season we've got a good selection of drivers who are going to be commentating as well. So there we go. 10 seconds, guys. 10 seconds, and then we'll
Right,
stop
I'm ready.
the vote.
ready.
Stop the
I think
vote.
I know.
So
I think I know who won it already.
yeah, it's obvious to be honest.
It's
By the
default.
start.
It's obvious by default.
Obvious by
And
default. Now.
there you go. The X's
One other
indicate no
mention.
more.
One other mention I will want to say as well is AJ, RSF1 Racing.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think only Shane has mentioned so far. Purely for the lights out. That one, the I can't do it. My voice is going. But no, there we go. He does it way better. He does it way better. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. And honestly, and he was the one that also stepped up, because I know most of you work as well, but he works heavily. But whenever he was free, he was like, "Yep." I was like, "Go for it." Plus, whenever he talks posh, he talks really posh. I don't know if you noticed that as well.
Yep.
Like, yes.
What's a tea for you, Dove?
That was an absolutely phenomenal.
I have to say,
Phenomenal.
this is the
Lost the
most
plot.
prestigious race that I have ever commentated
Yes.
over. I shall sip on my
boy.
tea and custard cream.
I'm here all week.
We're losing the plot.
Oh my.
Right, so yeah, it was obvious. In terms of the chat, it was Element Snow that is the commentator of the season. So congratulations, Element Snow. Probably the formation lap. That postcode formation lap.
It's because everyone like RSF1, Vettel, Verstappen, like so many people went like head over heels. Just every time we'd see a qualifying, they were already ready for the formation lap. They're like, "Give us the formation lap, please!" And and then when it finally arrived, they're screaming with celebration and happiness in the chat. Like, it was actually one of the things people looked forward to more than the race.
Yeah.
Again, though, type in F1 Championship Challenge. There's a recording of the narrator, and you know how, like, I don't know if you get it in FIFA and games like where it's so not generic.
4-2-3-1 formation.
No, scripted. It's like when they say a team or a person or a driver or anything else like that, it's always programmed, and there's like a split-second space between what they're saying and then the team name, like that. So
Yeah, because
It
obviously
reminded me.
it's like the filming the lines. They need to, it's like when you play F1 2019 when they're going over the formation lap. It's funny to like hear how like broken the voices is. It is like in first is Verstappen, Raikkonen, Hamilton, and Bottas. It's when it did that. It
Yes.
just makes me laugh just to hear how muddled up the chat dialogue is. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And that's a positive element. I'm not saying
It
the
is a
formation lap is
positive,
boring.
because
It's nostalgia.
it makes it funny.
It's nostalgia. Makes me smile every time. So please carry that on. Right, but we have one more.
The same thing in the comment.
Yes. Well, we have one more tier to talk about, and that is the top tier in RSF1. But the one final vote that you guys in the chat have to talk about is the driver of the season. So this is not necessarily the driver that's won a championship. Because, let's be honest, we have talked about them a lot. This not intentional, but it's the way it's happened. So try and think of someone that has impressed you with their maneuvers, their helping out with other drivers, maybe helping out yourself, possibly engineering, because I know there's engineers out there, and that's obviously great to hear. So think of a driver that has impressed you this season. So think of that. You've got about 10-15 minutes where we review tier 1 before we move on to that. So top tier in RSF1, Beast Pro. I don't know what. Have you watched the F1 races this season?
Watched a couple and obviously commentated on one of them.
Yeah, and this season, obviously, from last season, from season 1, there was a bit of a reputation, and not exactly a good reputation for F1 in terms of penalties and penalty points that people were gathering. I have to say, all the drivers, I know a few were different ones, but a lot were returning. They have stepped up. The racing has been, for me, maybe not for those that were racing, but for me, the racing has been great. There's been plenty of side-by-side action, and was a pleasure to watch. Would you agree, B-Spray?
Yeah, from me watching, I think I've watched 8 races, and there's only one race that comes to mind that it hasn't been perfect in driving standards. But aside from that, the Japan race, obviously, I commentated on it, and the battling was unreal with some of the drivers. The battle for the championship went on through the whole race with Skunk and Dyslexic going side by side quite a lot until obviously Skunk's unfortunate puncture. But it was unreal this season from all drivers, all wanting to get points on the board, but they wanted to do it safely and in a respectful manner, which they did throughout the season.
Yeah, and obviously, when you RSF1 Tier 1 or RSF1 F1 Tier 1, whatever the official name is, it's the top tier for a reason, isn't it? It's the promised land. It's where everyone wants to be. It's where everyone, I guess, wants to be in the next game when it comes up. So Blazer, it's definitely a land to be in, and these drivers obviously in F1 last season, a few maybe returning there in the next game, but we never know. But that's what people are aiming for. I presume that's where you're aiming for as well. But it has been very, very good racing, hasn't it? It's just, yeah, what more to say, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what everybody's target is. It's definitely one of my targets I want to try and get is to be in the top tier of the league. But overall, I mean, no matter what tier I'm in this league, I always love this league. I mean, 2 seasons in F4, and no matter what, I still enjoy it. But even if I get moved up to just move up by 1 tier or move down to a tier, I don't mind at all. I still love it, and no matter where I race in, what tier, it's just going to be the same amount of good driving. The only thing I just hope for next season is not get the Williams. That's all I
You're
care.
gonna get it.
That's the
only
thing I care is not to get the Williams.
You are cursed.
3 times.
You are
I don't
cursed.
want it for the 3rd
You're
time.
gonna get it.
I don't want it for the 3rd time. I don't want it. I don't want it.
Fair enough. But this season, pretty much, in terms of the early going, you had 4 drivers in there. Of course, one of them got removed by the end of the league or the end of the season, and that was Unity Hush. But nothing away from him, still was a great season that he provided. But you had the other contenders. You had Dyslexic, you had RSF1 Karun, and you had Skunkburner. Now, Skunkburner was obviously front contender in F2 last season, or season before the one we're doing. So the question was, could he step up? You know, he's taking a step up in into the top tier. A lot of sort of reputation on his shoulders. Could he follow on? And he did. He did very much. Ended up being, those 4 drivers taking the podiums, taking the wins in the early going. Of course, you had the ones in between. You had the no-shows win in Baku. Just to name one of the few.
I have one as well.
Go on.
Pigeon Munch in Japan. Wet start,
yes.
Everyone on a wet tyre except him, and he made the call so to the point where he could actually have taken a free pit stop and still had time to spare and still won the race. That's definitely a contender in F1.
Yeah, so it ended up being that Skunkburner unfortunately had a few mistakes creeping in. Maybe the pressure got to him in the end, but take nothing away. It was still a very good, solid season from Skunkburner. But Dyslexic was the one that had the most consistency. That word again is that C word. If you want to win a title, it's about consistency, not necessarily the wins. Dyslexic got 5 wins, but he got 13 podiums, 2 ahead of Skunkburner in the end. And Skunkburner was not Skunkburner. Pigeon Munch was next with 6. So that shows you the consistency to be up there at the top, especially at the most top level in any league. In any league you go, you got to go there. But the races were a privilege, definite privilege to watch. Obviously, F1 Bahrain being mentioned, Austria as well. Very, very good battles. And once again, like most tiers, you had drivers that could win races at any point. Yes, obviously you had those 4 I mentioned that were consistently near the top. But you had Easton with a win. You had Lando with a win as well. Days Rhombus, which I believe was late on in the season. And
Abu Dhabi,
2 for Mr. Pigeon Munch as well. Yes, quite late on in the season. The qualifying person of the season was Scumpburner, and he had 7 poles to his name, which I believe is the most in the league. So very well done to him. But the next kind of question, I think you got. I don't think I asked you guys this before we went live, but a question in the chat. Nice little guessing game you can have here. So there's a person in this tier that had the most positions gained out of the entire league with 92. Who do you reckon that is? Have a guess in the chat, please. A minute or so. Did I ask you this question,
No,
guys?
I don't think you did.
I don't think you did.
No.
I don't think so.
I'm guessing Pigeon.
I don't remember.
I'm guessing Pigeon Munch.
Okay. Any other guesses?
Um,
Verstappen, you got minus 17. So you didn't. Sorry, Verstappen. Sorry.
Verstappen, it's all okay. It could be worse.
It's all alright.
You could have.
It's
I
not the
got
worst.
minus 78.
It's not the worst by no.
Oh, so
I-
I'll probably
Verstappen, don't
say.
worry.
I'll probably say Days Rhombus.
Oh god. Oh.
I'm massively wrong there, aren't I?
Verstappen, Rhombus's qualifying was really good.
Minus 81. I'm sorry.
Yay!
Oh dear.
Jesus.
Um,
Any other guesses?
I'm
Who do
still
we have?
sticking with Pigeon. I'm correct.
Mr.
No
Whippy,
Shoals.
apparently, from No Shells. Brave Container. I'm only. I didn't mean to be
No,
like
actually.
that for stuff. And Jesus, I had minus 46. All right, Ben. All right, so you did way better than me.
Nobody wants to know
So
me.
I'm nowhere even near the
Um,
pair of you.
Lando's a very good
no
shout.
one. Well, no one in the chat has got it. Karun,
I mean, mine was the most controversial
Lando,
one.
I have to say, it was Primus that got it.
Hey!
Pigeon Munch.
I heard
92
no denial in- I heard it.
92
Taking that,
positions.
that's-
92
Wow.
positions gained in the whole season. 62 for Mex Zizou in second, and Easton with 58.
Wow.
So they're all quite high in there. So
Mm.
definitely. So congratulations, Mr. Pigeon. Yeah, I believe Mr. Pigeon was 92. Lauder in F5 was next with 70 or 70 odd. And then you go to Mex Zizou with 68. So
So Pigeon's
Congratulations.
actually had the most overtakes in all of RS1.
Zombie Head's wants to know his own one. Just have a look. Zombie Head. Wow. Consistency. That word again. 0. Nice.
Well,
Nice.
Oh my god! That was
even-
kind of harsh,
I
wasn't
don't think that was intentional. Right.
It's just how blunt you were. Just right, consistency 0. It's
You
just
stayed
a
where you
0.
were.
Yeah,
It's
I'm just
stable.
not going to
It's
say a
stable,
word
right?
about my one.
I think
don't
I
wanna
know
go
a
on
load
yours.
of people would like to know how they're doing in terms of statistics. I don't think we really
I
have
think-
that much time to go over all of
No,
them.
we don't have time.
I
We've
believe they're
gone
going to
way
be put
over
on the
what I
website
wanted.
soon. So,
Unfortunately, positions gained isn't gonna. the wins and podiums and poles and such like, they're going to go up. I don't think the last three are. Might be encouraged to maybe do that, but now everyone wants it. I'll do one more. I'll do J Locker.
Put them in the chat.
I'll do J Locker. I'll do J Locker. The last one. J Locker, who was in F5. I'll find F5. Jesus, they're not in order. There we go. F5. J Locker.
See Verstappen.
28. 28 for J Locker.
Not bad.
Right. We've got one more vote for Stappen before you leave. Got one more.
Don't go. We still got to vote
stay.
the best driver.
Best driver. Right, that's enough individual stats. Yeah, we need to get on with the last driver of the season. So, stars at the ready, please, Primus.
Ready and waiting.
3, 2, 1, go. 5 minutes.
Don't moderate
Allow
me,
it
you
again.
stupid chat.
Yeah.
It's
set
just
like that.
X's. I'm not being rude.
Right, so again, reminder, driver that is on the current roster, please, and do not vote for yourself. And try and vote for someone who has maybe helped your engineer, has been just a general nice person, basically, if you want. And let's see, let's put your votes in, please, please,
Sorry,
please.
Elements. No, you can only vote for one driver. As much as we'd like to make two, but it's the best driver.
No, if it's 2, if you
Yeah.
can't decide between 2, I'll give each.
Oh, okay, fair enough then. Yeah.
Right,
what about
best,
you,
best
Bravo.
driver.
Brundle? Let's start with you, Brundle. What would you say is your driver of the season?
Best driver is a different interpretation, really. My interpretation is improvement from like last season, for like season 1. I joined midway through season 1, so it's difficult, but still, my best driver will be most improved. So one that has worked the hardest. Although my kind of runner-up, personally, would be Shane, because of the amount of support he gave to every single Renault driver that he gave in his team. So, definite runner-up. Got very unlucky in his season in F2, but still never gave up, despite everything. So, Shane, runner-up. But my driver, personally, I think is Tim and Ike. Based on where he was in season 1. It was in F4, I believe, in season 1. Was kind of a mid-pack in F4. And obviously, pace can change over time, but he stepped up and was a real championship contender in F5. And obviously, it's somewhat to do with the meme work that he does as well. I'm waiting for the meme review he's going to do. I'm sure it's an absolute brilliant one. but no, he puts a smile on people's face whenever he puts that out, and I'm sure he will do that again. So that's for me personally. But in terms of his driving, in terms of the way he is, I've never really seen him in any sort of debatable incident either. So that's for me, Tim and Ike. What about you, Blazer?
Yeah, I could slightly agree with you there as well with Tim and Ike. Definitely, he's improved a lot. There's so many people I can name that really improved into the certain tiers. I mean, Maniac. I mean, he's improved a lot, and now he's F4 champion. He's Quaker Oats as well. He's done really well this season. It's just too many I could try and name. It's hard to pick which one I want to go for. I could say is the best one of this season.
Okay, what about you, Primus?
It's very close between two people, between the man with the cash and Shane. So I'd like to say Rapid Sprays, because he did really, really good going from like a later start than everyone else and then coming second, because that's an incredible feat. Just barely even starting the championship. But the man with the cash, I've been commentating over him now for 2 seasons. When he first came into RSF1, he was known as Josh of Dosh. He was just, new on the scene. And then suddenly he became the man of many nicknames, At first, he struggled for showing in terms of his pace, but then he started to really open up in the latter stages of the first season in the Ferrari, and then in the second season in the Racing Point, he really did show how skilled the man was. I'm definitely gonna Shane as well. Shane has proven from time to time again that he is a good driver. He doesn't have the best of luck sometimes, but that man has got skill. He has. I've seen him get podiums from areas where you wouldn't have thought he would have even gotten one. But as much as I'd like to say Shane, my vote has to be with the man with the cash.
Okay, thank you. What about you, Beastbar?
I'm going to go with the people, create them both. And I was going to mention earlier, I thought I'd say it to now, about when Primer said about the teammate situation with one of the best partnerships. Whilst I was in Mercedes, there was a very certain one with Snow and Dyslexic who both helped me improve the driver, and both of them helped me outside of the league. And Snow engineered me a couple of times, and both of them made an effort in the Mercedes chat whilst I was there. And even though since I did leave Mercedes, both of them still makes an effort. And obviously they just missed out on the constructors. They were so unlucky, but Dyslexic won the title with brilliant racing, and I can't really fault either of them. Both really nice people who just want the best for the league and have obviously got talents with themselves. Adding to it with Snow moving from pad to wheel mid-season and getting back up to pace after Singapore, and really gave it a good go. And both of them, for me, are my 2 drivers of the season.
Also, a shout to all, not obviously driver of the season, but people of the season, I guess. They have been mentioned, I think, this stream. The committee for running the league, keeping it going under nothing but pure passion to keep it running, because they want the league as good as it is. And obviously they're hard at work preparing for season 3 as we speak, and I'm sure season 3 will be good. So definitely a big mention to all those that are part of the committee. Some we know, some we don't specifically know. So again, 1 minute on the chat, please.
Adding to what you just said with
vote, actually.
Yeah, adding what you just said with the committee, also add about the stewarding from the past season, who have played a vital part in making sure the racecraft in this league is as great as it is, which is one of the best things about the league, the cleanliness. So I'd just like to thank, and I imagine everybody in the league would like to thank all of the stewards, vice stewards, and everyone who was involved in making it the league we have today.
Yeah. Primus, ready with the stars?
Ready and waiting.
3, 2, 1, stop. God, you are ready with that.
Yep.
Right, so let's have a look. Let's have a look. So very heavily contested, this one. So again, thank you for all the votes and throughout the evening. But it looks like with 2 votes compared to everyone else that had 1. We had a vote for Braver, had a vote for Button, had a vote for Brazina, vote for Easton, vote for Locker, vote for Falcon. But I guess the chat's driver of the season, and probably I definitely agree with this, is Dyslexic. For basically all the engineering he's given, obviously the driving, obviously everything else with the driving as well, but the engineering and the helping that he has given, because it's all about the community in RSF1. And definitely agree with that. So congratulations, Dyslexic, driver of the season. But I think we need to
Well
wrap this up
deserved.
because it's nearly 2 hours. This has gone way over.
Well, season
Oh,
2, 2
Way
hours.
than you thought.
3 hours next year.
I didn't mean to sound surprised, Locker. Didn't mean to sound surprised. But yeah, even my battery on my laptop is going down, so I really need to wrap things up. So, season 2. Again, thank you for everyone from all the drivers, the committee, the stewards, the commentators, the everything for what a great season. It's been wonderful personally to be a part of and to help out of. And again, season 3. It can only get better, can't it? It can only go up. I'm sure it'd be a great season to be a part of. Yes, a few days away. Blazer, what are your thoughts heading into season 3? New game now, could be completely different. Apparently it is different handling, etc. Yeah, what do we think?
Yeah, definitely. New game, new season, new style. Except from people who've got like the clue, they already know what the game's like. But people that doesn't have it, they're going into basically a brand new game. A load of stuff has changed into it, and it's gonna be a lot of sweating going to be happening in time trials. Everybody will be doing time trials on
You
tracks
know
they
it.
want to do, and I already know the tracks that I want to go for, and I just can't wait to get started.
Yes, you and me both. So I think we need to wrap this up. So thank you very much for watching, everyone, and for voting on those. It was a different way of doing it. I could have done it other ways. I could have put it in the Discord or other things as well, but it's a different way of doing it. Encourage people to watch the stream. So thank you very much for everyone who did. Thank you for your help, guys. Blazer, Primus, and Beast Pro. Thank you very much, and your research you did for your tiers. Again, we went far longer than what I wanted, but maybe that's what season 2 deserved. In-depth look at it. So, a couple of things to promote coming up. There is going to be another podcast about season 3. And that'll be solely season 3. All the dates you need to think about, all the dates of the driver draw, the socials, how it's all going to work. That will not be done by me. That will be done by...
Cannot wait.
Yes. That'll be done by someone. Someone from the committee, I believe, are going to do something like that. So, announcement, keep an eye on Discord on that. Yes, and I think that is it. So keep an eye on the Discord for any information about next season. Should be momentarily, basically, in the next few days or so. Also, keep an eye out for the meme review of season 2 from Tim and Ike. That should be soon as well. And also keep an eye on the next 2 weeks or so, because there will be socials on the new game when you get it, whether you get it early on Tuesday, which I am, whether you get it on the Friday, either there'll be socials in that week over the weekend. If you want to sign up, get some in, and we can have a look and see what the next game provides us. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we will see you very soon.
Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.